What if I told you that the number in your bank account has almost nothing to do with whether you're truly wealthy? Would you believe me if I said that people with $300,000 can live more fulfilled, peaceful lives than those with 3 million? Has this ever happened to you, watching your income grow while your satisfaction somehow shrinks? The financial world has sold us a dangerous illusion that wealth is measured in dollars rather than freedom. We've been conditioned to chase arbitrary numbers, a million, 5 million, 10 million, without ever asking what those numbers are actually for. Meanwhile, I've met miserable millionaires who can't sleep at night and people with modest savings who live with complete peace of mind. Stay with me until the end of this video, because understanding this distinction could completely transform your relationship with money. Here's what nobody tells you about financial freedom. It's not about maxing out your income. It's about minimizing financial stupidity. It's about taking control of your time, your mind, and your obligations. When your money owns you instead of the other way around, you're not rich. You're just well decorated. We live in a society that consistently confuses comfort with consumption. Have you noticed how the middle class desperately wants security but keeps buying luxury? How the wealthy claim to desire freedom but chain themselves to appearances? Both groups end up broke in different ways, trapped on a treadmill of their own making. Think about it. How many people do you know who buy things they don't need to impress people they don't like with money they don't actually have? This isn't ambition, it's insecurity wearing a Rolex. What you're about to discover might surprise you. True wealth has almost nothing to do with your income and everything to do with your outgo. The financial industry won't tell you this because there's no profit in contentment. Credit card companies, luxury brands, and investment firms all benefit when you believe that happiness is always just a few more dollars away. But that's the great illusion. The constant postponement of satisfaction while you climb ladder after ladder, only to discover they're all leaning against the wrong wall. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why $300,000 might be all you need for a life of genuine freedom, if you understand the crucial difference between being rich and being wealthy. This isn't about settling for less. It's about recognizing what actually matters. The question isn't how much money do you need to feel comfortable, but rather, how much stupidity can you remove from your financial life? The journey to financial freedom isn't just about accumulating wealth, it's about mastering the art of stillness. Have you noticed how our culture celebrates constant motion, endless hustle, and perpetual activity? This mindset creates a hidden truth that few financial advisors will tell you. In both markets and life, the inability to sit still is absolutely fatal to your wealth. Think about the transformation that happens when someone makes money quickly, rather than preserving their newfound wealth. They often find ingenious ways to lose it just as fast. It's not bad luck, it's bad behavior. They can't sit still. They chase the next thrill, the next hot investment, the next status symbol. The revelation here is profound. You don't need to get rich twice. The first time is challenging enough. If you have to do it a second time, that's not resilience. That's foolishness. I've witnessed this pattern repeatedly in my own journey. People who build substantial wealth often sabotage themselves through their own restlessness. They make a great investment, see success, and then immediately start tinkering with what's working. They can't leave well enough alone. Their decisions become driven by boredom rather than logic. This restlessness creates a cycle of gain and loss that prevents true financial independence. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic, because understanding true independence will completely change your relationship with money. Most people I meet are dreaming about passive income while actively maintaining what I call active stupidity. They want money to work for them, but their habits, mindsets, and impulses work against them at every turn. True independence isn't about your income, it's about your outgo. It's the ability to live below your means without feeling deprived. That's the foundation of authentic wealth. Everything else, the cars, the houses, the vacations, is just decoration. Behind the scenes of every financially free person is a simple reality. They've mastered their expenses before mastering their income. When you can wake up when you want, work with people you respect, and say no to nonsense, you've won the game. Whether your net worth is $300,000 or $3 million, the impact of this mindset shift can't be overstated. It's not about settling for less. It's about recognizing what actually delivers value to your life versus what merely impresses others. The greatest revelation on this financial journey is that peace of mind can't be purchased. It must be cultivated through intentional decisions about what you truly need versus what society tells you to want. When you break free from the cultural programming that equates spending with happiness, you discover a form of wealth that doesn't fluctuate with market conditions. What would your life look like if you stopped chasing more and started appreciating enough? How would your financial decisions change if you prioritized freedom over appearances? Write in the comments, freedom over appearances, if you're ready to embrace true financial independence rather than just the trappings of wealth. This distinction between rich and wealthy is perhaps the most significant mindset shift on your financial journey. Most people never realize they're chasing entirely different things. Being rich is about accumulating a specific number. Being wealthy, that's something altogether different. It's a state of mind, a relationship with time and choice. Rich people buy yachts. Wealthy people buy time. Rich people acquire possessions. Wealthy people accumulate options. Behind every truly prosperous person is this fundamental truth. They value autonomy over accessories. When you can wake up when you want, work with people you respect, and confidently say no to nonsense, you've already won the game. Whether your net worth is $300,000 or $30 million, I've witnessed this revelation transform people's entire relationship with money. Once they understand that wealth isn't about having everything, but about needing very little, their financial decisions change dramatically. Their goals shift from accumulation to liberation. Their focus moves from impressing others to impressing themselves with how simply they can live while maintaining their joy. But here's the deeper paradox of prosperity that most financial gurus never address. We spend our youth trading time for money, only to spend our old age desperately trading money for time. This pointless loop creates a lifetime of unnecessary struggle. Young people sacrifice their health, relationships, and passions to build wealth, only to later use that wealth, trying to recover what they lost along the way. The breakthrough comes when you recognize this cycle early and disrupt it. When you understand what enough truly means for your unique life, everything changes. Having enough doesn't mean settling. It means clarity. It means you don't wake up panicking about your financial future. You don't worship luck or live in constant fear of missing out. You think clearly without the incessant noise of greed and comparison clouding your judgment. This clarity is the ultimate luxury in a world obsessed with more. When everyone else is frantically climbing ladders, you're calmly building a life that actually works. The hidden truth is that your perception of what constitutes enough completely determines your financial satisfaction. Two people with identical net worths can experience entirely different realities based solely on this internal benchmark. The wealthiest people I know aren't those with the most zeros in their accounts. They're the ones who've mastered the art of wanting what they already have. They've escaped the hamster wheel of desire that keeps most people financially and emotionally exhausted. Their secret isn't earning power. It's the ability to find contentment regardless of external circumstances. If you could redefine your relationship with money right now, what would enough look like for you? What amount would allow you to live with dignity, purpose, and peace? Drop in the comments, "My enough is Kauba," and share what true wealth means in your life journey. Now let's talk about the cornerstone of this entire financial philosophy, discipline. The transformation to true financial freedom requires something that few people want to hear about, yet it's more valuable than any investment strategy or money hack. Behind the curtain of every wealthy person's success story is a simple truth. Discipline forms the foundation of their wealth, not talent, not perfect timing, not even extraordinary luck. What's fascinating about financial discipline is that it's essentially just the boring habit of not being foolish with your money. That's it. While everyone else is searching for the next crypto moonshot or real estate shortcut, the truly wealthy are practicing the unsexy art of restraint. They're saying no to unnecessary expenses, avoiding bad debt, saving consistently, and giving compound interest the decades it needs to work its magic. If you're ready to redefine wealth on your own terms, hit that subscribe button and join our financial freedom community. I create content just like this to help you build true wealth, measured in time and peace, not just dollars. This journey toward financial independence requires a fundamental mindset shift about what discipline actually means. It's not about deprivation, it's about clarity in purpose. Every dollar you don't waste becomes a soldier in your financial freedom army. Every impulsive purchase you avoid is a victory for your future self. But here's where things get interesting. The greatest barrier to this discipline isn't what most people think. The hidden adversary of financial freedom isn't alcohol, drugs, or even obvious vices. It's comfort. The comfort trap is the most dangerous financial addiction because it disguises itself as success. Once people taste a slightly better lifestyle, the nicer car, the bigger house, the premium subscriptions, they begin confusing these comforts with actual achievement. They stop thinking about efficiency and start obsessing over maintaining their comfort level forever. This subtle shift happens behind the scenes of their consciousness, creating a psychological prison they don't even recognize. This comfort addiction kills ambition quietly. It makes people rationalize mediocrity. "I deserve this," they tell themselves as they upgrade to first class or buy the luxury model. But what they're really saying is, "I'm willing to trade my long-term freedom for short-term comfort." Every lifestyle inflation makes the path to true independence longer and steeper. I've witnessed countless professionals earning six figures who are more financially fragile than disciplined households making half as much. The high earners expand their lifestyles to match their incomes, creating a mirage of success while actually increasing their vulnerability. Meanwhile, the disciplined savers build genuine resilience through intentional restraint. The revelation that changed my entire relationship with money was realizing that financial freedom isn't about making more, it's about needing less. When you need less to be content, you gain power over your time, your choices, and ultimately your life. This isn't about extreme frugality. It's about intentional spending, aligned with your true values rather than social pressure. If you're ready to break free from the comfort trap and build real financial independence, type "discipline equals freedom" in the comments to declare your commitment to this mindset shift. Let's get practical now and break down the actual numbers, because here's the breakthrough realization that changed everything for me. Financial independence isn't some mystical state achieved only by the elite. It's simple mathematics. The journey to freedom isn't about complex strategies or insider secrets. It's about understanding the basic arithmetic of enough. With $300,000 invested conservatively across fixed income, government bonds, and quality equities, you can generate between $15,000 and $27,000 annually without touching your principal. That's a 5 to 9% return, which is entirely realistic with a balanced, diversified approach. Now, many people hear these numbers and experience immediate resistance. That's impossible. I can't live on that. But that reaction reveals the exact mindset barrier we've been discussing. The revelation here isn't about living in luxury, it's about living with intention. This amount is absolutely enough to live well if you've eliminated the three biggest financial drains. If you own your home or have very low housing costs. Avoid consumer debt and, most importantly, stop trying to impress strangers with your lifestyle. The transformation happens when you design your life around what actually brings you joy rather than what society says should bring you joy. Behind the scenes of nearly every financially independent person is a life built on conscious value alignment rather than mindless consumption. They've mastered the art of extracting maximum satisfaction from minimal expense. Now I want to address the deeper psychological dimension of financial freedom, because this is where the real magic happens. True financial independence arrives at that powerful moment when your ego finally stops exceeding your logic. Most people's financial anxiety doesn't come from insufficient income. It comes from inflated expectations and identity attachment to consumption. Peace of mind isn't purchased with higher yield or riskier investments. It's achieved by systematically lowering your dependence on yield altogether. When your lifestyle requires less to maintain, your investments don't need to perform heroics every quarter. This is the hidden truth of financial serenity that most investment advisors won't tell you because it doesn't sell products. Real freedom means your basic life continues predictably, even if the stock market closes for 5 years. You sleep the same, whether interest rates rise or fall. Your self-worth isn't tied to your net worth. Your fundamental well-being isn't hostage to economic forces beyond your control. That's not just financial independence, that's existential independence. The journey to this state requires a profound identity shift. You must be willing to define yourself by your values rather than your possessions, by your character rather than your credentials, by your impact rather than your image. When you achieve this mindset realignment, $300,000 can indeed be enough, because what you're buying isn't stuff, it's sovereignty. Have you already experienced this shift in your relationship with money? Type wealth freedom in the comments if you're prioritizing true independence over the illusion of riches. Let's talk about one of the most profound misconceptions in the financial world: the idea that intelligence is the primary determinant of wealth. This revelation completely transformed my understanding of success. While we worship IQ, degrees, and brilliance, we consistently underestimate the quiet power of discipline in building lasting wealth. The mindset shift here is monumental. Many certified geniuses can't stay financially solvent, while seemingly ordinary people build extraordinary wealth through consistent behavior. The hidden truth is that the problem isn't brains, it's behavior. I've witnessed brilliant people who could quote economic theory and analyze complex markets, yet couldn't maintain a basic emergency fund. They understood the mathematics of compounding, but lacked the patience to experience it. Their intelligence became a liability because it created overconfidence in their ability to outsmart markets rather than simply participate in them consistently. In both investing and life, behavior beats brilliance every time. This insight liberated me from the pressure of needing to be the smartest person in the room. The journey to financial independence doesn't require extraordinary intelligence, just consistent reasonableness. The willingness to make sensible decisions repeatedly, even when they're boring, even when no one is watching. even when everyone else is chasing excitement. Now, I want to explore an even deeper dimension of this principle. The financial markets operate on a counterintuitive mechanism that few people truly grasp. Wealth doesn't reward excitement, it rewards endurance. Behind every overnight success is usually a decade of patient positioning. The market systematically pays people who can sit still while everyone else panics, tweets, or speculates. This capacity for sustained rationality is literally rarer than diamonds. Most people can be rational for a day, a week, maybe even a month, but maintaining logical consistency through bull markets, bear markets, recessions, booms, and everything in between, that's the superpower that actually builds generational wealth. The blueprint for success in this realm isn't glamorous. It comes down to making a few big decisions correctly. Choosing the right career path, saving consistently, investing in broad markets, avoiding consumer debt, and then simply avoiding stupidity for decades. Not chasing get-rich-quick schemes, not panic selling during downturns, not leveraging yourself to the hilt because of FOMO. This revelation contradicts nearly everything popular culture teaches us about success. We're told to hustle, disrupt, innovate, and constantly reinvent. Yet the financial evidence consistently shows that quiet consistency outperforms frenetic activity over meaningful timeframes. The people who achieve true financial independence aren't those who make the most trades or have the hottest takes. They're those who develop the emotional resilience to stick with sound principles through changing conditions. The transformation happens when you stop trying to outsmart the market and instead focus on outlasting your own worst impulses. When you develop the inner discipline to let compound interest work its full magic without interruption. When you understand that patience isn't just a virtue, it's a strategy. If you recognize this principle at work in your own financial journey, type "patience pays" in the comments below. I'm curious how many of you have already discovered this counterintuitive truth about wealth building. Let's shift our focus to what might be the most underrated principle in wealth building: capital preservation. The revelation that changed my entire financial journey was understanding this simple truth. The first rule of compounding isn't about maximizing returns, it's about not interrupting the process. This mindset shift transforms how you approach every financial decision. Behind the scenes of most destroyed fortunes, you'll rarely find market crashes as the true culprit. What you'll discover instead is behavior, panic selling during downturns, excessive leverage during good times, or lifestyle inflation that forces liquidation at the worst possible moment. The hidden truth is that your own psychology poses a far greater threat to your wealth than any external economic factor. Capital preservation isn't a glamorous concept. It doesn't make for exciting YouTube thumbnails or viral tweets. But among serious wealth builders, it's sacred. The best investors I've ever met play defense first. They're not obsessed with getting rich quickly. They're focused on never being poor again. This distinction completely reorients their decision-making framework. Think about it this way. Imagine you have a money tree that grows at 5% annually forever if you protect it. The transformation happens when you stop seeing your portfolio as a resource to be tapped and start seeing it as an asset to be protected. Every dollar preserved today becomes multiple dollars in the future through the miracle of compounding. But this only works if you give it time, uninterrupted time. Now I want to address another crucial dimension of financial wisdom that contradicts almost everything you'll hear from experts in the financial industry: the power of simplicity over complexity. The revelation here is counterintuitive yet profound. Complexity is often just a sophisticated form of stupidity. The journey toward financial clarity begins with this recognition. The truly smart money decisions can typically be explained to a child. Don't spend more than you earn. Invest regularly in things you understand. Avoid debt for depreciating assets. These principles aren't simplistic, they're foundational. Simplicity isn't a sign of ignorance, it's evidence of clarity. Behind the impressive-sounding jargon and complex financial products lies an industry that profits from your confusion. The average person doesn't need elaborate tax strategies, exotic derivatives, or leveraged investment vehicles. They need just three things: a decent savings rate, a diversified portfolio, and perhaps most importantly, the ability to sit still while everyone else is frantically trading. Everything beyond these basics is usually just expensive noise. I've witnessed this principle at work among the wealthiest, most financially secure people I know. Their approach isn't characterized by sophistication, it's defined by consistency. They don't try to outsmart markets, they simply participate in them steadily over time. They don't chase trends, they maintain principles. They've discovered that financial complexity often serves the seller more than the buyer. The impact of embracing simplicity extends beyond your portfolio. It creates mental bandwidth for the things that actually matter in your life. If you find yourself nodding along with this philosophy of straightforward financial management, type "simplicity is sophistication" in the comments. Now, I want to explore perhaps the most transformative concept in the entire financial journey: learning to recognize what enough truly means. This insight stands in direct opposition to our culture's endless pursuit of more. Have you noticed how the world constantly moves the goalposts of what constitutes success? This shifting target creates a psychological treadmill that keeps most people running their entire lives without ever reaching a destination. The pattern is painfully predictable. When you're making $50,000, you convince yourself that $100,000 would solve all your problems. Then once you hit six figures, suddenly $1 million becomes the new benchmark for success. Achieve that milestone, and mysteriously, $10 million becomes necessary for true security. Behind this endless escalation is a profound revelation. The treadmill isn't powered by actual need. It's fueled by a toxic combination of envy and insecurity. This is the hidden mechanism that keeps even high earners feeling perpetually behind. I've met doctors, lawyers, and executives making over $300,000 annually who still feel financially inadequate because they're comparing themselves to peers making more. The breakthrough moment in your financial evolution comes when you recognize this game for what it is: a deliberately unwinnable contest designed to keep you consuming rather than living. You don't need millions to live well. What you need is clarity about what enough looks like specifically for you. This personal definition becomes your North Star, guiding every financial decision and protecting you from the constant pressure to upgrade your life beyond what actually brings you joy. When you define enough in terms of your genuine values rather than external validation, you discover a form of wealth that isn't contingent on your bank balance. The journey toward this clarity requires honest self-reflection. What actually makes you feel fulfilled? What relationships, experiences, and activities bring genuine meaning to your days? These questions lead to a revolutionary insight about the true nature of wealth. If you want to measure wealth properly, don't count your possessions or your portfolio balance. Count your untroubled hours. Count the days you wake up without financial anxiety. Count the decisions you make from a place of choice rather than necessity. Count the moments you can be fully present with loved ones instead of mentally calculating costs or worrying about bills. This measurement system reveals who's truly rich. The person who knows what enough means can't be bribed with more. They've achieved a form of immunity to manipulation because additional consumption no longer holds power over their decisions. That's real freedom, not yachts or private jets or vacation homes, but the ability to say no without fear of loss. The capacity to walk away from toxic situations, unfulfilling work, and unnecessary obligations because your well-being isn't hostage to your income. In this paradigm, wealth becomes primarily about three things: your time, your choices, and your peace. When these three dimensions are aligned, even a modest financial foundation like $300,000 can support a life of genuine abundance. The transformation occurs when you stop measuring yourself against external benchmarks and start measuring your life by how it feels from the inside. If this perspective resonates with your own financial philosophy, type "Enough is enough" in the comments to join others who are redefining wealth on their own terms. As we reach the end of our journey together, I hope you're starting to see that wealth isn't about the specific number. It's about aligning your money with your values, your time with your priorities, and your life with your definition of enough. The $300,000 figure isn't magical. It's simply a concrete example of how much less you might need when you stop measuring success by society's impossible standards. This shift in perspective doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual awakening that transforms not just your finances, but your entire relationship with consumption, status, and satisfaction. The path to true wealth begins with questioning every financial assumption you've inherited from a culture designed to keep you perpetually dissatisfied. I create these videos because I believe financial freedom shouldn't be an exclusive club for the ultra-wealthy. It should be accessible to anyone willing to challenge conventional wisdom and embrace the counterintuitive principles we've explored today. If these ideas have sparked something in you, if you're ready to define enough on your own terms, I'd love for you to join our community. Hit that subscribe button so we can continue this conversation together. Each week, I share strategies, mindsets, and practical steps toward building wealth that actually matters, the kind measured in freedom rather than zeros. If this message resonated with you today, let me know by typing "freedom over figures" in the comments below. And if you found value in our time together, a simple like helps others discover these ideas too. It's a small action that creates ripples of possibility for people searching for a different financial path. I've put together a follow-up video right here that dives deeper into creating passive income with that $300,000 foundation we talked about. Click through when you're ready to explore the practical side of financial independence. I'll see you there.